Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us.
You got to do the little block snap thing, right?
Take
one.
Take one. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here.
I see you got a nice background behind you there.
Yes, I'm suffering in my quarantine here in Florida.
Yeah,
we just checked the temperature. It's a horrible 72 degrees. You can see it's stormy and cloudy, and there's nothing but clouds in the sky. So could be worse. Could be in Miami.
Yeah, we actually just bought like a cheapo one of those inflatable pools. You know, like
yeah. Hey, anything to get in the water, right?
Yeah, it works great. $80, and I'm lounging by the pool every night.
Well, you don't want to be inside all day, but you go outside and it's 90 degrees, and you got to come right back in. So
and 100% humidity.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been working out well.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So how's your situation? Are you able to work from home?
Well, I mean, I can do some of the stuff I do. I mean, a lot of what I do is travel, but, I've been kind of retired, semi-retired for about 8 or 9 years now, so I don't have to work too much.
Doesn't really affect you too much.
Yeah, I still like working. That's why I do it, so.
You don't seem like the kind of guy who sits around by the pool too much.
I've been trying to, but yeah, it's last couple of weeks because I had actually planned on being at BattleBots right now, so I don't have anything scheduled. So I'm doing a lot of sitting around here for a couple of weeks. You already got the robots ready to go. They're about ready to go in the boxes, and then cut next time. So
yeah, maybe we'll get back out there in a couple of months.
Yeah, hopefully. But my opinion on that. I think it'll be next year. I mean, I don't like that opinion. I just think that's what's going to happen. I think the government's going to keep everything shut down till June or July. And it's just going to take too long to ramp things back up by then. And then it's going to be August, and the new season. It'll be too late to get the editing in for the new season. And I just don't see the timing happening. As much as I would like it to, I just don't see it happening. Doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, we're trying to stay optimistic about it, but you're right. At some point, if these episodes run into when the next season's supposed to start, that doesn't make
That's what they get into, timing. It's not like I'm saying they don't want the show or anything. It's just showbiz, it's just timing.
Yeah. Well, I hope we don't lose the momentum that we had. I think the show was getting better every season too. So
yeah, definitely.
Hope they don't take that as a bad sign and say, maybe we don't need the show at all. That would be terrible.
Well, especially were you guys around in like 2000 and stuff when it all stopped back then, 2002 or 3, I think it was, and the momentum was growing, it was on all the TV shows. It was on, I mean, you could go on 2 or 3 different TV shows and there'd be a robot builder there. Christian Carlberg had one, and Jeff Vasquez, they all had little robots on little shows, and then it all came to a crushing halt. And then it took 10 years to get it going again. Let's hope that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were lucky.
Especially now, especially you guys are rolling. So I know you don't want to see it stop.
No, definitely not. I don't think anybody wants to see it stop.
I got a little face to make up, so I don't want to see it stop yet either.
So you mentioned that Shrederator is pretty much ready to go. Is it different at all from last year? Have you made?
Well, I'll tell you the thing. What'd you say? Is it going to work? Yeah, actually, that's what we've been working on the most recently. See you later. We're going to. The last couple of years, believe it or not, we've actually been rebuilding the inside of it, making it different, trying to make it easier to work on, whatever. And the frame is that we've never had a mechanical failure. We've never had trouble with that. And like every year, I keep messing with it. So we're not messing with it. We're going to do a couple little things, a couple little changes, but nothing soundly structured. Everything that I'm working on is to take care of the problems that we had in the past, traction and reliability. So that's what we're working on. And, I really believe that if the damn thing would just keep running, we'd win a lot more matches. I mean, there's, like I keep saying to everybody, I say we're winning the match right up until we lose it. Not every time. You guys are a good exception where you just kicked our ass from beginning to end. But, a lot of the other matches we did pretty good in right up until the damn thing quit on us. So I just think if we can keep it going, it's going to be, we may not take the giant nut, but I think we're going to put a much better performance in, which is kind of what I'm looking for. I always say win or lose, but be spectacular. We have not really been that spectacular lately. Maybe for a minute, you get a minute of spectacular, but we're looking for 3 minutes of spectacularness.
So right after last season, I think you guys went to King of Bots also with with Tiger Claw, or what was it called?
Yeah, well, that's kind of here's the whole situation. You guys might already know. So both King of Bots and BattleBots scheduled their shows for the same time, right? Actually, King of Bots actually gave us the dates before BattleBots did, and we had already signed the contract, and they'd already given me money, so I was contractually obligated to go to King of Bots. So, Greg called up and said, okay, we got some firm dates. Here we're going to go. I go, crap. I can't go. I'm already contractually obligated. And he goes, oh, all right, that's too bad. So then when BattleBots moved their dates, so, oh, great. So we can squeak it in now. It's going to be tight, but we can squeak it in. So I called him up and I said, yeah, we can make it. He goes, we're full up. We got everybody. We can't fit you in this year. I said, okay, I understand. That's not too bad. And then 6 days before ship date, he calls me up and goes, oh, we had some dropouts. We need you to come in this year. I go, crap. But, I got to do it for him, right? So I had actually sold my drive motors and transmission. The other two robots had already shipped out to China. They were gone. So I had the scraps of what I had here left over. I had already sold the drive motors and everything to Smentowski. And so I didn't have motors. I didn't have anything. So luckily, I was able to get some motors from Shaggy, which unfortunately were lost in shipment, and we didn't get them till like the day before shipping. But I mean, we just threw it all together. We had the old shell with the old style teeth that we knew were going to fail. They failed before. They're going to fail again. They're going to fail every time because it's not the right design. And so we slapped it all together. We put it all together. We drove around it. Figured out it's going to work as good as it should. I put the electronics in that we were running in China, thinking that, they ran pretty good in China. But we knew that we had failures waiting because those 48-volt mag motors can't held up. I was still running the 48-volt mags on the spin, and I knew they weren't going to last, so we were going to have to baby them. And I didn't have any spares. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a spare shell. I didn't have spare motors. Didn't have spare speed controllers. Had nothing. So we shipped it all off and didn't do so good. Could have been better, but
the teeth that you have on that shell, I think that actually works super well for you, especially against verticals like us.
The old teeth or the new teeth? Oh, you haven't seen the new teeth. You're going to hate them.
Oh, well, yeah, I haven't seen those. But the ones that you had.
We actually fought a vertical spinner in China. It was so the year before last, we fought this robot in China, and we thought we beat him up. It was the fight for third place or something. We thought we destroyed him. I mean, we literally did destroy him. He couldn't even drive back to the box. His drum had fallen off. His wheels were falling off. But somehow or another, judges gave him the win. So they didn't put it on the show because there was like a big I don't know what the deal was because it really didn't look like they won. But it didn't matter because, it's China. Who cares, right? But anyway, so this year, I guess, I don't know why, they wanted us to set the record straight, give him a chance to prove that he was the best or whatever. So they actually paid us extra. Have yet to receive the money, but they're going to pay us extra to bring that old robot back over there, which is why I didn't have a spare for here, and fight him again. So we actually fought him before the show started taping, and the match went, I guess, like 1 minute and 20 seconds. And he has a strong vertical drum and everything like that. And we completely demolished his robot. There was nothing left but little pieces. And his drum hit our tooth and knocked the robot probably 6 feet up in the air. Didn't even put a scratch on it. Didn't put a scratch on the shell. Didn't put a scratch on the tooth. No damage whatsoever. So hopefully we're going to bring a little bit of that to BattleBots next time too.
Nice. Now, the one you guys compete in China is all brushless, right? Or is it a mix?
I actually brought 2 to China. I brought the brushless one and I brought the brushed one because they wanted us to fight the robot from last year against this guy instead of the new one. So we brought the old one there, but we put 24-volt motors in it instead of the 48. So, yeah, so it worked good. We had the brushless and the brushed, and, this year, as long as China doesn't kick anything up, we're going to bring all 3 to BattleBots was our plan. We're going to have the 2 brushed and the 1 brushless so that we really will have spare parts this time and we can actually make it through a tough fight so nobody will give me shit. And hopefully we can teach some lessons. But you never know. Robots fighting's like that. Luck of the draw a lot of the times.
So which one do you think performs the best out of the 3, the brushless or the brushed?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, we only got a couple of demos and we got 1 grudge fight with the brushless one. And I had an experimental shell that the teeth stuck way far out on. Bad idea. So the shell actually broke. It's, it's 3/4 of an inch thick at the bottom. and it actually just busted a chunk out about with the tooth that was attached to it. I got some pictures I can give you if you're just so that I don't know if it was over hardened or what the deal was, but sticking those teeth that far out was always against my mantra, of taking little bites, but you can't take little bites anymore. The robots are too tough. You don't get a little bite, you just skid off all the time. So the teeth that we actually ended up putting them, we call them the hardcore teeth, because we were working on design, and we get thinking, oh, this looks good. I go, wait a minute, this looks exactly like Ray's teeth. So I called Ray up. He sent me pictures and everything and told me all about them. I said, damn, we got the same thing. And I said, well, I'm going to call them hardcore teeth just because, they're the same. So you got to give a little shout out. Even though we develop them independently, they're still hardcore teeth. So
that's funny.
And, the idea is we're going to have to start hitting a little harder, hitting a little deeper, because the little bites, you probably heard this before, my goal was always take little bites, last the whole 3 minutes, put on a good show. You got a good 3-minute show. And by the end of the 3 minutes, the other robots in little pieces scattered around the arena, but you ran 3 minutes. Well, you can't do that anymore because the robots don't come apart. I mean, you got little tiny motors and little tiny batteries, and you got 200 pounds of armor now. So you gotta hit harder and try to take them apart. So we're gonna shift into that strategy a little bit. We got a couple other little tricks up our sleeve too, but hitting harder, being more reliable. We hit pretty hard last year. I mean, if you saw that hit we did against Black Dragon, a couple hits we did on Blacksmith. I mean, we were literally knocking them all the way from one side of the arena to the other. But, then we had stupid little things just quit on us. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. 2 receivers last season. I never had a receiver go bad in the 20 years I've been doing this. We lost 2 of them last season. And they're well shock absorbed, trust me. I mean, I know about that, but...
Yeah, I'm always terrified with receiver issues because it seems like it just happens randomly. There's no why some fail and some don't.
Well, I think we found it. In our rush to put it together, we didn't have all the wires bundled up real good. And one of the main power wires it runs right beside the spin motors. And evidently, when we tightened it down on the wire, and we pinched through the insulation, which didn't matter. But what that meant was the whole frame had 48 volts on it. So when I was taking it apart after our second humiliating loss that we couldn't figure out, I'm taking the radio out, and the antenna touched the frame and sparked, and it melted the antenna. I go, whoa, that's not right. And that's how we found out that wire was pinched under the motor, and we had a live frame. So I sent the radios back to Spectrum and, asked them, could this have done it? What made these fail? We don't know. Here's some new receivers. Bye. So I don't know for sure, but I mean, that's the only thing we can figure, to have 2 of them go out like that. It's crazy, but maybe if I get him as a sponsor, I'll actually short one out on purpose and see what happens and let you know.
Weirder things have happened for sure.
Yeah. Well, it sparked enough to put arc marks on the frame, and it ate the antenna right off. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So your son Nick is living in China right now,
yes.
Right? So you don't have his help for the build. How's he doing over there?
Oh, he loves it over there. I just heard from him yesterday. I guess their classes have started back up, but I don't know if they're doing. I think they're doing them online right now. Still, I think the schools are still closed for another month. But he sent me some video. I put it up on Facebook because I was telling him we couldn't go out to dinner, we couldn't go in there because we're all locked down. He goes, oh, here's where I'm at. And he sends me a video of him out at a restaurant. He says every table was full. The thing is, in China, because it's a communist country, the government can pretty much do whatever they want. It would never go over here. And I don't, as much as I think it's a great idea to fight stuff like this, I don't think I'd want to give up my freedoms either. But wherever they go, they have to check in on WeChat. WeChat is this service that everybody uses over there. They pay with it. They talk with it. They text with it. They video chat with it. Everything's on WeChat. And I have no doubt that the government monitors everything. When you drive down the road, every intersection you get a flash, because they take pictures of every single car going down every single road, and they got face recognition where they track people. I'm not making this up. I mean, you can ask anybody about that. So what they're doing now is when you go to WeChat, you go to a restaurant, whatever, you actually have to scan QR code and check in. They won't open the door. When you show them that you've checked in, then they'll open the door and let you in. So they're tracking every single person. And if you're supposed to be under quarantine and everything, first of all, no one's going to break the quarantine because they know they're going to get caught because they're tracked everywhere. Like my son, he came here to a month or so. I guess it was like 3 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly, but he flew over here to do my cousin, my niece's wedding, and they were in California. The day he flies over there, I get a call from the health department here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hey, somebody in your family came back. I said, yeah, it was my son Nicholas, but he's in California. He goes, okay, click. 5 minutes later in California, he gets a call from the health department in California. Tells them, okay, you should quarantine for 14 days or whatever. But they never checked up on him. They never did anything, whatever like that. So then he gets all that done. He flies back to China, but he flies through South Korea right at the height of their coronavirus craze, right? So he flies through South Korea. He gets back to China. They go, okay, you got a 14-day quarantine. He goes, yeah, I've done quarantine before. I know all about that. So he opens up the door to his apartment, and there's a camera with an alarm on it facing right there. If he went anywhere, the alarm goes off, and the camera reports him in right that instant. He couldn't go out of his apartment for 2 weeks. He had to have people bring him food. He had to have his friends bring him stuff. He literally couldn't leave, and they meant it. So that's the difference between America and China. When they tell you you're on quarantine, you're really on quarantine.
Wow. Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's giving up, people would give up their freedom here. I think that wouldn't go over very well, but that's definitely one way to get it under control.
It would fix the problem, but, do you really want to give up your freedom to fix this problem? A lot of people wouldn't. I'm not sure that I would, but I'm not I don't know. It's a tough thing that everyone's going through. I'm not 100% on board with it, but we're just going to wait it out and see what happens.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get back to fighting robots soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well,
I'm still optimistic it's not next year, but I'm starting to get used to the idea, so I'm not just devastated when they announce that.
Right. Well, I kind of, the instant they postponed it, I go, yeah, okay, next year. So I was hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. But maybe that'll let the Chinese robots come and some of the other robots come. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There was a lot of robots that weren't even finished that will actually be able to come. I don't think Chomp was going to get done by the looks of their pictures, and I sure want to see that thing run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people some people are trying to take advantage of the extra time and get their robots up and running and tweak or whatever and do testing. So
hey, well, that's the name of the game. If you got the time, use it.
Yeah.
If you get more time, make your robot more. I'm going to try to make mine more reliable.
Good. Sounds good. So thanks for joining us, Brian. Hope you and the family are doing well and everybody's staying safe.
Yeah, you too. It was nice talking to you. Thanks for calling.
You too, man.
Yeah,
Take it easy.
Brian.
See ya.